India leveled the series with a victory against South Africa in the fourth T20I. Disappointing performance from South Africa. It's plain and simple. With the we were absolutely pathetic. No way to explain it. I think South Africa read the conditions all wrong. Even with regards to the toss, I thought again on these slower wickets we probably have a better chance of setting totals on these type of wickets rather than chasing. I think Temba Bavuma should have been brave to do that and select to bat first in this particular match, especially when you've weakened the batting attack. That is the case that happened. There are a couple of things that I want to discuss on this show. A lot actually needs to be discussed on this particular show. But we also need to give some credit to India the way they've come back in the series, particularly how they performed with the ball. They've read conditions perfectly. They've put the ball on 50-cent pieces consistently. If you look at Bhuvi's hotspot, I don't know what you call it really, but where the balls are placed, they're all around the same spot consistently on these wickets. So he needs to get credit as well. But let's go and let's talk about this on this particular show. It was not necessarily a very slow wicket. It was more a wicket that had some deviance in them as the pitch degraded and as the day went along. I mean, the pitch for South Africa looked a lot different to what it looked for India. Although there were signs of that, as you can see, the way India started their innings, and as the innings went along, it eased up a little bit more. But by that time, South Africa's middle order was shot. Of course, after losing both openers in strange fashion, obviously Bavuma injury and Quinton de Kock in a bizarre run out. It just shows again my point about when Quinton de Kock gets boggled down and frustrated, weird things happen when he's at the crease. I'm just going to be sticking to that. But it's not all about my opinion and what I think about this. Let's talk about this and get the panel also on the show. But before we get going, before we get started, please click subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos as well. And also smash that like button. It's very important that you do that and comment and share with every single person out there as well. That's what we need to do. That's how we get into recommended feeds. Remember that this is also a call-in show, but I'm only going to release the call-in link when we have an opportunity later on in the show to bring on the callers. First, I want to talk to the panelists, and then I will share the link with everybody if you want to call in and have your say. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's content. A lot to discuss, guys, on today's show. Very disappointed with this performance. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the fourth T20I. I wish it was still the second. Fourth T20I between South Africa and India. So a lot to talk about. I think the best way to do this is probably just get everybody's view first up about what they thought about the match. And what this meant, obviously, for South Africa and for India. Obviously, Ashwani is going to be sitting here with a bigger smile on his face than in the previous two videos. But that's good to see because I think there was a lot of character shown from an India perspective with the ball in this particular match. But let me get into the discussion first, and let me start off first. A lot of things that I want to say that I have an issue with when it comes to South Africa, and it's about my main thing is about consistency, and I've spoken about it on this channel for so many years now, or not years, months now. We haven't been out that long to be able to say years yet, but months I can say. Consistency, making sure that you find consistent partnerships, consistent strategies, consistent game plans. All of these things need to be implemented consistently over time, because I think 10,000 hour rule is not there for no reason. For example, Dwayne Pretoria is coming at number 3. It's a great surprise to bring him in at number 3 in certain matches where the conditions are suiting it. When the ball's coming nicely on the bat, if we lose a quick wicket early on, coming out of the power play strong is good. But when you look at the conditions, and the conditions weren't that easy today to bat on, let's not just lie about it and say that it is, because only two batters out of everybody performed well today on this particular wicket, you could say. Others showed signs and lost their wickets. But when you look at it as a whole, it was a difficult pitch to bat on. You saw how how South Africa has particularly got uneven bounce knocked up. But this is not excuses, in my opinion. We had our partnership at the crease that we wanted today. Let's start with selection. I think that's probably my first where I'm upset about the most, because you had the opportunity to play Tristan Stubbs today and lengthen this batting lineup, because I think that we weakened our batting lineup by actually leaving Parnell out of the team and then bringing Janssen into the team. I wouldn't compare them, even though Janssen hit a massive six and he held his own and was okay in this particular game. I still believe that Wayne Parnell's a better batter, and it makes sense because of the experience that he has behind his name too. So having that number 7 and 8 in the middle order at the bottom of there has always given me comfort. But when you're going to drop Riza, a batter, and then you're also going to drop um, another batting all-rounder that can bat in Parnell, I thought that they would improve it by bringing in another batter, i.e. Tristan Stubbs. Rashi showed that he can find runs in the power play. Yes, it was only one over, the last over of the power play, we found the gap. I still believe that they should test that if Pavuma is not available, or if something happens over there, because he can play that type of game. And I thought that they could have pushed him up as an opener and then it's lengthened the batting lineup, which I felt was a bit unnecessary, because I don't think Janssen is a number 8 holistically yet. He's still getting there with the bat. I mean, it was his debut today, and you're expecting him to chase down a total like this. Not every single person can just come out there and do something like that. Um, we started off with the bat pretty slow, although Quentin de Kock showed some signs. Pavuma wasn't really reading the Boovie very well, but it looked like he was starting to get himself a little bit into the game when he got injured. Now, he was in the war zone today. He got bashed on his elbow, got a bounce into the head, dove and hurt his elbow. It's crazy, you know? So when I looked at this lineup, and we can't all, I've seen a narrative going around, and Temba's obviously trending on Twitter again. Everybody keep blaming him for this particular loss, saying because if he bats quicker, then we would be better. Now, I saw that narrative also go around, and I think Werner and Chepo showed it on the screen not too long ago. As an opener, Pavuma strikes at 131. So the narrative of his strike rate being too low as an opener is not necessarily or 132. So it's not what? No, no, not as an opener. As an opener for South Africa in T20 internationals, his strike rate is 132. Yeah, so that is the interesting thing, because it's easy to slump all of the other positions that he batted in into the stats to prove the point. So I'm not saying necessarily that he hasn't shown that form of 132 strike rate in the last couple of games. Let me just get that out there, please, just so that people understand that, because he hasn't. He hasn't come to the party and shown that he can bat at that strike rate consistently in the last couple of games that he's played, in the last couple of series that he's played. There was a 72 that he did as an opener, and that was interesting. But he needs to come to the party, yes. But so does Quentin de Kock. Quentin de Kock hasn't necessarily been the batter that we have been asking him to be in the last 5, 6 games. Go look at him. The last time he scored was in Sri Lanka. Yes, he went through a cluster of games where he scored a lot of runs, West Indies and Sri Lanka particularly, but then he hasn't scored since. And I feel that the reason for that is because of the inconsistency of bringing him into the team with an opening partner that suits his game, and understanding that they need to build that momentum and build a partnership over time. You can't just expect people to just click instantly. And that's my issue over here with South Africa at the moment. We change too many things too many times instead of keeping consistency going. Like Dwayne Pretorius, for example, it came off once doesn't mean you have to do it again. The fact that we know that he can do that type of role is good to have in your back pocket. I got destroyed when I said I was 50-50 on the decision to bring him out at 3. People threw out stats at me and said, oh, yeah, but he's got a 72 there, and he got a this there, and he opened for this, and he put a batted 3 for them. Yeah, but how many times did he do that? And cricket is about consistency over time. And that's the problem that I have over here, because if I've been told lots of times by many coaches, even in judo, for example, I wanted to change my throw at some point. That was after I got an injury, right? And when I was doing the X, I had one particular throw that really got me all my wins. If you look at it, 80% of my matches I won with that particular throw. I got an injury that prevented me from doing that throw. I tried to switch it, and I couldn't in the speed that to learn a new throw to take me to a championship so short in a space of time to learn a new throw. You need to at least have 10,000 hours of something to be able to become a master at it. Now, if South Africa as a batting opening partnership hasn't necessarily batted for a long period, now I'm not expecting them to spend 10,000 hours together at the crease. We don't know how long they're going to take to do that, but at least get some sort of consistency and understanding of whose role is what. And I think that will maybe set up our problem or fix our problems that we have. Right now, our problem is that opening pair, not setting up games for us in the power play enough and helping our middle order. Now, my opinion on today's game, when you're looking at, particularly if you're looking at our middle order, the way they performed, all of the batters that are in this middle order have all been called to be batting higher. We've all made these calls on this particular show. Bat at four, Miller at four, Klassen at four, Klassen at three, Rassi at opening, Rassi at three, Rassi at four. People have spoken about this continuously. They've mentioned this. Today, their performance wasn't good. And we can't blame it all on the opening pair because their job is to come in as well when there is a fall in the power play and also to try and win the game for South Africa. Do what Dinesh Karthik did and Hardik Pandya did. That is their role too. It's not only to come out and smack the ball and play this aggressive style of cricket. It's also to adapt their game to the situation and also bat well. So I don't think that it's fair to discriminate and not to discriminate, sorry, to criticize one player and some players, but then not criticize others. So I think that needs to be a little bit of a balance. Let's get your thoughts. Tsepo, I've had a 12-minute rant. Let's get your thoughts, and then we can move on to Ashwani.
Hello, everybody. I am disappointed. This was trash. And it was trash from everybody. Like, everyone's out here being like, oh, Timba Pavuma does it again. The same mistakes. He's not striking. Guys, everyone played trash. Literally, every single batter played trash. Quinton de Kock, 14 of 13, an awkward run out. Timba Bavuma, 8 of 11. He played trash. Dwayne Pretorius, 6 balls, no runs. What? Trash. Trash, 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 all the way down. It's not just the top, guys. David Miller hits a 6, goes out. Oh, yes, he's definitely going to take us over the... Guys, he played trash. Everybody played trash. Not just one guy. And you can see, this is what I don't like about these arguments. When we win, we say we bat too slow. When we lose close, we say the power play was a problem. When we lose trash, we say the power play was a problem. It's always the same problem. Guys, we need nuance. We need to think about, look at the situation and be like, where are all the problems? And the problems were everywhere. Where the problem started for me was the bowling. The bowling. Temba Bavuma's captaincy, trash today. I gotta say it. I've been backing him, but today it was trash. Shouldn't have bowled first. I don't know why we keep bowling first. Like, I'm tired of this. Let's bat first sometimes. Maybe try. Maybe we're trying to chase the whole time. We proved that we could do that. I'm done. I'm done. Also, yeah, guys, how are you bowling Keshav Maharaj in over number 16? How? How, Sway? How? How? This guy gets punished. Then, and guys, and also the selection. Guys, if we're going to bring in Tabray Shamsi, he needs to bowl. And he needs to bowl all his overs. That's just the way it has to be because he's not going to offer you anything with the bat. And even in the field, he's not the most athletic person. So he needs to bowl. He needs to bowl. So for me, just the decisions we're making was like we forgot. We were like, oh, we're living out here in game one where India don't know what's coming, and we're going to surprise them by bringing in the guy that we listed at 6, at 3. Just list him at 3 if he's going to come in at 3 all the time, man. Come on. Come on, man. Everybody played trash. Not just Timber. Everybody played trash. And with that said, my goodness, India, well done. Dinesh Karthik, guys, respect on this man's name. This man came back. You're hearing commentators talk about, man, was in India's inaugural T20I, and now he scored his best score. Yay! And you know what, eh? He took it to our bowlers. He made our bowlers look like Popeyes. Popeyes. And Ashwani Popeye is a cartoon. It's someone you don't respect. And he made our bowlers look like that.
Yeah.
And our
But
bowlers,
Seppo,
what were our bowlers doing? I'm touched. I'm vexed. This was trash from everybody.
yeah.
Trashed. Trash.
It was
Trash.
trash. But I'm
Mm.
not going to agree with you on one point in that about the power play situation. South Africa have a serious problem in the power play. It's going to put a lot of pressure on us if we don't figure that out. If we don't get that right, at least get a minimum score that you aim for, like say 50 or something or 60, and try to get beyond that minimum and try to build that innings. Even if they don't survive, they don't both get 50s or 60s, put something on the board. We can't still be having these collapses in the power play. It's going to put a lot of pressure on our batters. So I have to disagree with on that one. I understand why people are pushing for the power play, and I understand why they are saying the criticism about us in the power play, and we need to figure a way out to do it. I've said that I thought that Temba Bavuma playing like a foil to Twin the Cock is the right method. Is because the reason I say that is because I think that in every conditions that you play, whether it's a slow wicket, whether it's a quick wicket, with a spinning track, whatever the wicket is, I feel that the most adaptable out of the batters that we have available to us currently in South Africa that are batting that are in the South African setup currently that have contracts, I think Temba is the most adaptable. And as well, I think he understands Quinton's game the best. Yanomani is second best. He should be on that plane. If he's contracted, he should be as the backup. I said this since the World Cup already. He provides that attacking spirit that we need. And I think in Australia, he might be really, really good on those type of wickets as well, when the ball is going to be bouncing a lot better, I think, than it is in South Africa, for example. So I think it's good to have someone like that as a backup for, or even as a replacement for Temba in the future, if that's going to be the case. So we need to find a way and how to score these runs. If Timba's injured, it's going to cause a big problem. Then we need to start to make a hard decision on what we're going to do, because I don't think he's getting the right amount of game time out in the middle as an opener to build up to this World Cup now. If he's injured now again, this is now the third, say, fourth time, and as he was building momentum, this happens. And we can't be doing that into a World Cup. I think that's too risky for us personally. We're going to have to decide what we're going to do. If we're going to play Markram as an opener, which is done, or we're going to play bring Yanaman into the side. Are they going to go with Riza because Riza's contracted as well? They're going to need to decide if he's out. I'm talking about if Timba's now injured for a long time now with his elbow, because it was clearly too hard, sore for him to be able to come out and bat again, um, even though he retired. So there's a lot to talk about with regards to that opening pair, because I think we need to improve the way we play in that power play. But Ashwani, we have to give congratulations to India. I think the way you guys bowled was excellent. And I know a lot of people will say, oh yes, but South Africa batted poorly, whatever the case may be. But you didn't make it easy for us to bat with freedom. What I like about the way you guys are bowling is the consistency. And I always talk about consistency because I think consistency is key in everything. Consistency over time. And you guys did that. You put the pressure on by bowling that ball, making South Africa's batters think consistently. Are you happy with the way your bowlers have improved as a unit as the series has gone by? Do you feel that that's where this game was won today?
First of all, hello to Khalid, hello to Tepo, Shepo. Yeah, yeah, I think fantastic performance by India. I think the bowling changes the punt did today, I think that was fantastic. He didn't make the mistakes that he did in the first two games, and more importantly, bowlers backed him to on that pitches, which had something for everyone. And also, you have to give credit to Mr. Dravid and management, because it's very difficult to continue that squad which lost your first two matches. So I think you have to give credit to Rahul Dravid and management too, because they backed that sort of group which they carry on, and they I think credit to them, and they deserve it. And what we saw today, I think obviously our batters Kishan, Rituraj, Shreyas, and Pant, they got out early. But I think after that partnership, Pandya and Pant, the way they carried out, I think that was fantastic batting by them, especially to DK. I think DK is that type of player which India missing from the past few years, because India's T20 batting is that type. I think India's mostly batsmen play traditional shots. They don't have that 270 degree or 360 degree players which DK provide to them. And you saw it where DK played that shot from which length. He put that off stump ball to leg sides and play reverse sweep, dap shots, at coming at that number seven position, which is very difficult job. So you have to give credit to DK, and I think India is missing this type of player from a very long time, and India found him. Obviously, DK is around 36, 37, and India should utilize his services as much as they could. I think he should be playing that T20 World Cup. I think it's very early to say, though his performances speaks itself. There are a lot of matches coming through before the T20 World Cup, so picture will be more clear. Which sort of players will be going to the T20 World Cup, and I think DK will be one of the players which will be going to Australia.
So, guys, I'm gonna put on the live link now for you guys to call in if you want to call in and join us on the show and give your say. Yeah, we need to start thinking, because every time the same things raises its head, every single time I think we've moved on from certain things. We try and test new things, and then if it works, then we're like, oh yes, we maybe found the genius thing that is going to pull us through. But let's try to put ourselves in the Boucher's shoes as well. If they are looking at Dwayne Pretorius to be that type of player that can come into a situation and take us out of trouble in the power play, if we've lost an early wicket, then obviously they need to bat him at number three as much as possible whenever they get the chance, so that he can get used to it, of course, right? But then on the flip side again, it's not going to win us matches. So that's something that is all the time. It's something that
Khalid,
can't always
sorry
come on.
for stopping you. I have one point. I think South Africa got away with their lack of batting depth in the first two matches, which I
Yeah.
saw in these matches. I think, but going in with just five batters is never sustainable for them. And even if you use one of your bowling all rounders as a pinch hitter, it is, I think, very fraud 11. I think South Africa should use that extra batters to give their batting strength. Obviously, the type of changes they did, I think it's very surprising. I think one change is enough for this team. I think if they played Ngidi or Johnson, I think that is enough for them. But I think they did too much changes. Obviously, it's good to give other players chances, but I think it should be with the balance of the playing 11. And I think South Africa clearly missing that extra batter. I think they have to find that extra batter in the names of distant stumps, or they bring in that guy Wayne Parnell again. So I think South Africa had to find that mojo, and I am not very happy with that Pretorius decision to move them to number three. I think it's a good decision that you sometimes, according to the situation, you can put him to number three, but not every time. And in that sort of wicket, you need that proper batsman to come down like Rassi Vander Dussen, who can float through the innings and give you that momentumous score, so your last batters can chase down. So I think South Africa, and also they have one more problem of that power play which everyone is talking, and they all are right. I think South Africa need to sort out their power play issues, because India has opposite dilemma. India's power plays, obviously they failed today, but I think India's power plays are really good. But in the middle overs they are lacking bit. But in the opposite sense, South Africa is lacking in the power play. So they have to find that player who can give them fast start. You saw that today's game, England versus Netherlands, where England's batting is gone. They scored 498, and we are still searching for the power play. Uh, India and South Africa, I think they are far behind from England in that perspective. I think both teams can learn from England in power hitting perspective, where England's team is reaching. So I think India and South Africa both can learn from England in that
Yeah.
perspective.
True, but we also can't force that type of style of cricket on people. England also have the personnel that can do that jobs and that can play that game, and that have that in within them in their style of cricket. Forcing that onto players is also a problem. I always spoke about. I know everybody wants this attacking brand of cricket and this expansive brand of cricket that they want to play. I agree, I like it, but I'm saying South Africa have natural players that are adaptable. Why can't we play an adaptable side of? Why can't we do our own thing? Why do we have to copy someone? Why can't we be the one team that finds an adaptable way to destroy T20 teams and find ways of picking players that are adaptable that can change the conditions? I think that's very important because what happens if there's a slow wicket? Or what happens if there's a difficult wicket, but you can't play that expansive game, especially on a big field where you can't clear the boundaries easily. So that's also something that we need to talk about. That we all have this fixated on one style of way, and that's the way, the only way. It's happened in many sports. We speak about it all the time. You can talk about it in the NBA with the Lakers. You can talk about it in the NBA with the Chicago Bulls. You can talk about it with regards to in football with the total football in Dutch and Barcelona way. Everybody tries to copy now Pep Guardiola instead of finding their own way of trying to play the game. So yes, we're going to get through these phases that these things are going to happen, and the team is going to obviously promote that. But let's get into the live chat. Look here, that spammers over here, that Tinder people, I don't know who they are. I've blocked you, I've reported you, whatever the case may be. I don't know what's going on. They keep on coming back. So, guys, if you see that, please report them. It will help a lot. But we're gonna get our first caller on the show. We've got Bakar. I think that's how I pronounce it. Welcome to the show, bro. What would you like to say? I hope you're not going to spam us like the other guy did the last day. Hello.
Hello,
Hello. How's it? How's it, Bakar? Is that how I pronounce your name?
hello.
Hello. What would you like to say?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, first of all, I would like to say that I'm a big fan of your show. I really like you. I like your coverage.
Thank you very much.
And about Proteas, I'm a big fan of Proteas, being an Indian. But yeah, so we all saw today's match, and we also what just happened. It was just a complete disaster for me. And that Tampa injury, I personally think Tampa deserves some chances, but he will not come up to the party. So probably we are gonna see Riza in the next game. And yeah,
Mm. Yeah, I mean, who would be your preferred person to open the batting with Timber? Let's say you had a blank check
for
and you could get anybody in.
for me, if asked from me, I would like to get Malan in as soon as possible.
Mm. Do you think that Yanaman's game? Now I know a lot of people criticize me for having this opinion, but do you think that Yanaman's game, particularly against the moving ball as well as the spinning deliveries, is good enough to be able to take that
Yeah,
pressure off Quinton de Kock?
yeah, we all have seen that in that last ODI series against India, that he just suffered from Jasprit Bumrah from a bit of a swing in the start of the innings, and yeah, that's his
Mhm.
problem. And he just sought out to play the spin, but I don't think so that in the T20 arena you're not gonna be fit in if you're not gonna play explosive and strike the ball from the first ball.
Mhm. I like Yanaman as an option. Like I said, I want him to be the backup opener in this particular team. But thanks a lot, Bakar. I hope you come on the show again. Thanks a lot for calling in and for all the support.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Cool. We've got one more caller. We've got Sadiq over here. Long time since he's called in. Welcome to the show, bro. What would you like to say? Hello. Not hearing anything from there. Okay, Tsepo, let's continue talking about this. He's disappeared now. The link is in the live chat, pin to the live chat, guys, if you guys want to do that. Tsepo, let's talk about from your perspective here. I want to ask you again about India and their performance because there's a lot to learn from them, particularly their bowlers, how they can change their lengths and change the style of the way they bowl. They don't stick to one thing that works for them. Now, I have a concern about the amount of variations that not Yanaman, sorry, Andrik Nokia currently has. I feel that he has these moments where he does bowl excellently well and his pace is all there, but I feel that his slower deliveries are not necessarily catching people out. There might be
Mm.
a different type of variation that he needs to maybe add to catch out those the times when the people are actually reading his line and reading his length. What is your thoughts on that? Because Ngidi was excellent, and I've spoken about Ngidi in the past, saying that he should maybe even compete with Andy for a position based on the pace that he bowls and the variations that he has. And he can also bowl 18th over, 19th over, death over, doesn't matter, open the bowling. He's excellent. So we shouldn't sleep on his ability. I think today, the reason why they maybe didn't give him all the responsibilities because he first came back after a long time of playing, maybe, and they looked at Dwayne Pretorius because of the World Cup. He was a death bowler there. And I think that's maybe the thought process. They didn't maybe want to put all the pressure on him exactly. But what's your thoughts on those two bowlers particularly?
Yeah, I was talking about Heinrich Nokia throughout the whole series and how he's looking off color. In tests, when we need something to happen, he's a good strike bowler. He comes in, he changes the game. But in T20s, yo man, this man's pace, he can travel. He can travel to the boundary, even off a good ball. If the batsman just finds the middle of the bat accidentally, 6 runs all of a sudden. So uh, my issue with him is that like he doesn't have that control. Like we saw Avesh Khan today. That's what pace like that is uncontrollable for a batter looks like. That's what using the pitch to extract variable bounce and becoming unplayable looks like. But India just they played him. They made him look like a Popeye, and he only bowls 2 overs now. And he went from being like our best player at a stage, South Africa's best player. I think it was 2020 when he was named as that or something. And now it doesn't look like he know. Not that he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, but he's not on the level. He looks like he's bowling domestic stuff, like stuff that would get domestic players out, but not like international
Mm.
players. He's missing his
But
line too often.
don't you
He's
think it's got to do with match rhythm and
yeah,
not
it's
playing
probably
enough
match
games?
rhythm. It's probably match rhythm. But wasn't he in the IPL? Like, wasn't he there?
Yeah, but I mean, he started off. I mean, he was in IPL. He was injured though. Got quickly put into teams to play, and
Fast
then he had
tracked.
a horrible first game. Oh my lord! I watched that game
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh flip, you guys fast tracked him. I think a little bit too quickly." And then he started showing things here and there, but he wasn't fully, I feel, recovered in that series. And then just continued playing him. So I feel he's still finding his rhythm. But also
and that's yeah, yeah.
these wickets in India, Aditya warned us about it. He told us that you guys are stressing on the spinning aspect of the game and how many spinners you should play. But he said the seamers are going to be the trick over here, and he did say that ahead of the series, and we need to give him credit for that for saying that, because
And
good lines and length sometimes are good deliveries. The good length balls really troubled South Africa today, and also in reverse, it troubled India's openers as well. So it's not that it's something that we need to also think about the adaptability of our bowlers. Ashwani, you want to say something there?
I think the normally Rajkot wickets, especially in that Saurashtra region, I think they are very good wickets to bat on. But I think over the years, due to heat wave coming in our part of the country, and I think all over the world, they put a little bit grass on the wicket due to this, and the matches is on the night, right? So I think the wicket has little bit of tingement or help for the bowlers. You see, both Angidi and Nokia and even Janiman Malan, they bowled, I think, that test match corridor, especially Angidi, that Rituraj Gaikwad's wicket. I think that's a perfect test match dismissal outside the off stump, nick away to the keeper. I think same case to that guy, left-handed Johnson. I think he bowled poorly today because pitch got little bit help for the bowlers. Though he bowled that in swinger to Shreyas Iyer and he bowled that wicket, but either way, I think his length are pretty much poor. I think that's the one reason. I think if Johnson bowled that tight lines, I think South Africa can bowl out India under 150, or I think under 130, 140 if Johnson bowled well today. I think he's out of sort today. And I think one wrong decision Temba Buma took today. I think he bowled Keshav Maharaj after 16th over. You can't bold spinners to last 4 overs. I want to give you the example of Mr. Saeed Azmal in the 2010 T20 World Cup, where he bowled at I think last over, second last over to Michael Hussey, and Michael Hussey uh, bring that away game to, from Pakistan, and won them the semi-final. So I think it's a big lesson that you can't bowl spinners last over. Either it's Rashid Khan, either it's Saeed Azmal or Sklan Mushtaq or R Ashwin. So I think it's a big risk bowling last over to spinners, and because bowlers are in that zone, so I think it's better to give bowler which are medium fast or fast, because they have much more options to stay away from batters are.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get on the next caller. We've got Rishi over here. Welcome to the show, brother. What would you like to say?
Hi, Khalid.
Sorry, I caught you off. Sorry, I caught you off guard there. How are you
Hi,
doing?
Khalid.
What would you like to say?
Uh,
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, I hear you.
Okay.
So
What would you like to say?
I just want to say that South African batting are um, way too slow. Uh, just cut off 2 3 innings and just any World Cup, so you cut Makram's innings and then see all the batsmen are batting very slow. Hello, are you listening?
Yes, I'm listening. Listening.
Just saying that in World Cup, if Makram not played well in just 20 per ball 50 or 25 ball 50 something in West Indies match, and England just we are setting target, but still South Africa Rasi just played 2 innings, still doing 2 innings, and he is not batting at all in other innings. Just
Mhm.
I just want to say that.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Rishi, for coming on the show. I get you what you're trying to say. I mean, it is definitely a problem Ashwani to sort out. Something that we need to do, something that we need to improve. And I think Yanaman is important. Get Yanaman in the mix as well. Give him some game time. I mean, I'm starting to think maybe is it too late to include him right now because he hasn't played any of the games in leading up to this next World Cup.
I think if you look at SA's squad, I think SA should need to invest of right kind of players, especially in the top of the order. I don't say
Hmm.
Temba Buma is a bad player because of that one match. I think, but Temba's game is, you can say that he's not your that power hitter player. He's a, you can say that uh, ones, twos, or you can say that he's like an anchoring type of player, which you see other teams have that one or two players in their team. So you can't say you can totally out Tamba Muma from the team, because one or two players should be in the team as well. So I think South Africa need to have that 3 or 4 players extra in their mix. There are many players in the domestic circuit which they can try, like of Marco Mares,
Yeah.
and you obviously Janeman Milan as well. I think Matthew Britzgay, who played, I think that 2018 under 19 World Cup. So there are many players that South Africa can try. I think South Africa have a lot of T20 coming up before the World Cup, so can they can try these players. And if
Mm.
Riley Russo is available, I don't know his situation. South Africa management can also can call him that if he wants to be available for Proteas again. So I think
Yeah.
South Africa need to have that balance pool of around 20 players, so they can pick and choose from it, and it's very important from them. And obviously, it can give them the luxury which players they can pick and choose. And obviously, George Lind is also there. I think he is injured, that's why he's not in the team. So there are a lot of players which can South Africa
Yeah.
pick and
He's
choose.
currently playing in England, actually,
Okay,
George.
he's playing for Kent, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting to see that he's not in the mix. But I think it's maybe too late now to try and throw these new domestic guys into the mix. They need to also perform at a domestic level and better than others for them to be selected. Also, if they're just doing an average job in domestic cricket, I don't think that that's a good thing to say. Okay, let's give them a chance in the main team. Right now, I think it's too close to the World Cup to maybe throw in these new guys. I think we need to find a way to make it work with what we got here. Um, because I mean, you want to improve on the last World Cup. I mean, it seemed like we were maybe one player short. That's what I felt from the previous World Cup. I was sitting there, I was like, we just need a finisher, and this team is sorted. I'm happy with this team if we can just get a finisher into the mix. We identified Tristan Stubbs, yet to see him play. An opportunity for him today. There was an opportunity for them to play him today, and I said I would like to see Tristan Stubbs, even if they have to move Riza up one. Sorry, Rassi up one to just to fill in a void for this time for this period. But even that, they could have found a way to fit him into this team today. I don't think they needed to play Janssen. It was a strange one. Maybe it is because Bonelli is still feeling a little bit of that injury that he picked up in the last game, which he did. He did have a little bit of a niggle in that last game. Maybe he felt it before this game. They never really told us what is the reason for that. But we've got another call over here. Sadiq, what's up? What would you like to say?
Yeah,
Hello.
thank you for letting me call and have my. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, perfect. I'm happy that I can hear you. That's why. Sorry, I was just reacting to the fact that I can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes. What would you like to say?
Yeah, thank you for letting me.
Hmm.
Hello,
Hello. You can go. Have you say?
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, before having my point of view, I want to ask something from you. I have little of your programs and I've seen you defending if there is no quota in the if
I can't hear. You're
he's
breaking up,
not a
bro.
captain,
Can you
will
hear?
he be able to play as an opener in South African team?
So I think what you said, you broke up a lot over there. I think what you're saying, if Temba Bavuma was not the captain, could he play as an opener for South Africa?
Hello.
Is that what you asked me? Okay. I think that's what he asked me, right? I think he's asking me basically, he's seen a lot of shows and I've always defended Temba. That's what I'm getting from it. And whether I think that Temba would still play as an opener for South Africa if he wasn't the captain. I do. Because I think they would have given him chances anyway, whether he was the captain or not. In fact, he was getting chances before he was the captain. So it only makes sense to me that they would have still played him as an opener. When it comes to his domestic form in T20 cricket, he's been pretty decent if you look at him compared to other openers in the country over the last 5-6 years. Now, remember, there has been an influx of players that have come over the last 2-3 seasons in domestic cricket that have been now kicking on to do well. So his position is under pressure, but he's almost lucky in a way that it's coming towards the end of his career. I think if this was further back, I don't think Temba would have been in the conversation if these players were playing the way they have been for the last previous 3 seasons because of their strike rates, the way they've taken the attack to bowlers, etc. So I think I've answered your questions, Rick. I'm sorry you did break up, but I do think that South Africa would have still picked him as an opener, whether he was the captain or not, because they were picking him as an opener and as a batter before he was even captain. Ashwani?
Yeah, I think if I take Temba Buma's situation, I think Temba Buma's situation is very similar to KL Rahul's. I think KL Rahul is frequently injured from around 2-3 years, though he is I think one of the best T20 players in the world as compared to Temba. And Temba has to look out his fitness as well. If Temba is regularly has fitness concern, then I think I may have concern on his place in the team due to his fitness issues. He has to look out his fitness well. I think that is you can say that it will hamper South Africa's. You can say that their team, their playing 11, the because coach always make up his team around 2 3 players, and Temba is one of them. Though many people not believe, but I think Temba is main part of this team due to his captaincy skill. So I think Temba has to look out his fitness perspective as well. And I same case to I think KL Rahul too. KL Rahul is regularly, yeah, has fitness issues, and I think he's going to Germany for his I think operation. So best of luck for KL Rahul. And also coming to in the for the next match, I think South Africa can still win the series. There's I can say that there is no such panic should be in the squad at the moment. Obviously, they all out under 100, but I think if South Africa can sort out one or two issues, they can win the next match and can take away the series as well. So for this, they had to be little bit proactive in the power plays, and we have to see who is the next captain in the next match. So uh, one thing I want to say that I think if South Africa's power play approach is little bit proactive, and if they can take the batting first, obviously in the Bangalore ground. And I want one thing I want to say that I think Bangalore ground is normally is very, you can say that uh, is good for batting teams, but it's you can say same thing like Rajkot as well. Rajkot is also very good for batting, but I think over the years, Bangalore, because we don't have too many matches in Bangalore there. Obviously, IPL is in the 2 3 grounds there, so we have to see what type of characteristics that Bangalore ground can provide us. If they can provide that little bit of tinging grass, so it can be help for fast bowlers as well. Same like that match, and I think South Africa can play with 3 to 4 fast bowlers there. So you cannot say that it's absolutely batting paradise there, because we don't start too many matches in the domestic cricket there. So we have to show the characteristics of the wicket there. So it's up to the captain how he can read the wicket.
Yeah, let me just get this back. The guy to get this guy back. Sadiq. Hello.
Yeah, thank you. I break up.
Yeah, you
Sorry,
broke
I
up.
break up last time. My connection was
Yeah.
off. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I did answer your question, I think.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was making a point that you often, yeah, I listen it. And uh, I want to ask something. As if Temba Bavuma is unfit, then you will see Keshav Maharaj captaining the South Africa team in the next match, as he's a vice captain perhaps. And if
Mhm.
he's a vice captain and he plays as a captain in absence of Temba Bavuma, suppose it's a World Cup and he plays it ahead of Tabrez Shamsi, what will the situation like? I mean, Tabrez will find himself out of the squad, out of the 11, perhaps.
Perhaps, or they're gonna stick with this two spinner thing that they're doing. So it's either or. That's what I think what will happen. If Temba's not is out of the World Cup, then Keshav will
I mean,
probably take over the captaincy.
I mean, they can't sustain this betting depth. Betting depth is not very high, and I mean, at 7 you can't play someone like Wen Parner or Marco Jensen in World Cup.
Mhm. I mean, look at the World Cup, and apart from the Australia game, the rest of the games were pretty decent. We played pretty good cricket throughout the rest of the tournament. Okay, we had some
But
games where it got very close and
but
to the end, but we've
but
had an opening issue now for a
but
while
you
now. So we need to sort it out. And I agree with you. They need to sort it out. And Tempa needs to come to the party with a bat. As simple as that.
but last T20 World Cup was in UAE, and it was a spinning tricks, and the next one is in Australia.
Yes, and the ball will come on the bat a lot easier and quicker for a guy like Temba Bavuma. That's why I think it will actually suit him because he does. If you're talking about Yaneman batting well against pace, I think Temba is also very good against pace. Hello. Okay, so I think we've lost him again. Ashwani, final thoughts from you?
I think South Africa can win the last game too. But I think in the last match, I think they should bring him that extra better in the form of Tristan Sucks, which give them extra batting depth. And I think they should bring Kagiso Rabada back into the team. Obviously, they give him the rest, foresee his future assignments. I think this is the very crucial match. I think so. They bring Kagiso Rabada, and obviously Marco Jensen is should be out from the team due to his today's performance. And I think rest will be the same. And I don't know what's Temba's injury situation. So obviously Riza Hendricks will come in place of Temba Uma, and rest will be the same squad. And for India, I think if they want to try, it's I think it will be very difficult. They will try because they don't try after losing that two games. So it's very difficult. If one player is injured, then they will try. I think Arshdeep can play. Uh, Otherwise, it's rest of the team will be very same. So best of luck for both the teams. Obviously, I want India to win the series, but obviously, I also wishing South Africa best of luck for the last match, and hopefully, a good game is displayed in Bangalore.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate that the whole conversation over here has only been about Temba again. That we're talking about the opening partnership and not criticizing everything that has been wrong in this game. But I'm hoping South Africa can bounce back, find their rhythm, play the type of cricket that we all know they can. And let's hope that Temba Babuma's injury is not for long, because we're going to need to build some proper momentum leading into the next series, England, all of those things, and then into the World Cup. And we want to see our most proactive team, our best team that we can be available for us for that World Cup. They need to, I think they need to look at some hard positions over here and try to think who they can bring into this squad in England. I hope they make a couple of changes and see what we can do there. But ultimately, very disappointed with this performance. I hope South Africa can obviously do a lot better in the next match. But to all of the fans, Ashwani, thank you for coming on. Seppo, thank you for coming on. All the callers that called in, thanks a lot. We ran out of time. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos, and also don't forget to smash that like button and share this with all your friends and families too. We want to hear your thoughts on this particular match as well in the comment section, so please do that. Also, go and download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. And become a Patreon today, please, by going to cricketfanaticsmag.com. If you go to www.patreon.com/cricketfanaticsmag, that's how you'll get the link. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. And go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your updates. We have the latest report up there by Mark Jacobson, one of our writers. He put a report together, so go and read our report and what he had to say about this particular game. Thanks to everybody that has helped us and supported us on this particular show. We'll see you again on Sunday evening with another review show after the game. Looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say and seeing everything that you have to do. Take care, everybody, and see you. And enjoy your weekend. Please enjoy it. Peace.